The Joseph Series, Story Number 3, The Lord is with Joseph in Egypt, taken from Genesis chapter 39, verses 1 through 6. After Judah and his brothers sold Joseph to the Midianite Ishmaelite traders, Reuben returned, only to find out that he was too late to rescue Joseph. Then the brothers devised a cruel plan to deceive their father. They killed a young goat and soaked Joseph's beautiful torn robe in the goat's blood. Then they sent the robe to their father and asked if he could identify it. Jacob recognized the coat immediately and concluded, as they planned, that a wild animal had killed Joseph and torn him to pieces. When Jacob continued mourning and weeping day after day, his other sons and daughters tried to comfort their father, but Jacob refused to be comforted and said that he would go to his grave mourning his son. As cruel as the treatment of their father Jacob, imagine the fear and shock that Joseph must have felt when he realized that instead of freeing him, his brothers were only taking him out of the pit to sell him to some Ishmaelite traders. Additional details of their cruelty will be revealed in another story. Now the story continues as Joseph is sold as a slave in Egypt. So Joseph was brought down to Egypt. And Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officers, who was the captain of the guard and an Egyptian, bought Joseph from the Ishmaelites who had brought him down to Egypt. But the Lord was with Joseph and caused everything he did to prosper. And Joseph continued in the house of his Egyptian master. Potiphar saw that the Lord was with Joseph, and that the Lord caused everything that Joseph touched to prosper. So Joseph found a favor in Potiphar's eyes, and he became Potiphar's attendant. Then Potiphar made Joseph the overseer of his house, and put Joseph in charge of everything that he had. From the time that Potiphar made Joseph the overseer in his house, and over everything else he had, the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. The blessing of the Lord was on everything Potiphar owned, whether it was in his house or in his field. So Potiphar put everything he owned into Joseph's hands. And because of Joseph, Potiphar did not have to concern himself with anything except the food he wanted to eat. The Joseph Series, Story Number 3, The Lord is with Joseph in Egypt, taken from Genesis chapter 39, verses 1 through 6.